Here are matches that led to wrestlers leaving WWE. Batista and John Cena were two of the biggest stars of the late 2000s. The two would feud together for the big titles as well during this time, as it was clear that WWE had centered their entire brand around these two as well as Randy Orton. Thus, when Batista decided to quit WWE in May of 2010, fans were caught by surprise, though the reason for Batista leaving is almost something that was in the build for 2 years. In November 2008, Batista and Chris Jericho were in a feud and met in a steel cage. Batista, someone who believed in blading, felt the match needed something more. This was during the PG era and blading was completely banned. Batista bladed himself, something that angered Vince McMahon. Batista was slammed with a $100,000 fine thanks to his actions. Batista paid his own fine and Jericho's. Batista apparently decided then and there that he would leave WWE, saying he knew things were never going to be the same as he made the transition to Hollywood. Gail Kim is one of the best women's wrestlers and managed to showcase her skills in TNA, but in WWE they had no idea what to do with her. In fact, Jim Ross revealed he had to talk to Vince McMahon about certain men really being obsessed with Asian adult content to get Kim hired. She was underutilized again and again and decided she had enough. Kim took matters into her own hands during a battle royal on Raw. She went into the August 2011 bout, which would decide the new contender for the Divas title. She was told she would be one of the first eliminated. Furious with her booking, she eliminated herself in a matter of seconds. She would then go public and say she was not impressed with what was happening in WWE and that she was quitting. This is one of the few times on this list that a match that didn't even happen led to someone deciding that they had enough with WWE. In the early 2010s, CM Punk was the hottest star. While WWE was focusing on John Cena and The Rock and bringing in part-timers, Punk was the one who was propping up the roster through the sheer force of his charisma. Punk had one dream, headlining WrestleMania. Throughout his WWE title run, he never main evented Mania, even when he faced The Undertaker. Then the pitch of facing Triple H in another non-main event match at Mania 30 and even losing was too much. Punk decided to take time off. WWE, unhappy with this and his refusal to come back before he had fully healed, made the decision to fire him on his wedding day. Pac, also known as Neville, was one of the most talented in WWE. When he arrived on NXT, he quickly rose up and won the title. Then on the main roster, he was extremely popular with a superhero gimmick as the man that gravity forgot. Though his booking did not meet his popularity, Neville came back later as a furious heel with him looking ripped, as he demolished those in the Cruiserweight division. Soon WWE booked him to lose the title to Enzo Amore. The match was not something Pac could take, feeling WWE was booking him to lose and was being inconsistent with this character yet again. A few weeks after the pay-per-view, Neville was told by Vince that he would face Enzo in a match on Raw. Even though it was Neville who had made 205 Live exciting again, Vince wanted Enzo to win in the Lumberjack match. This was the final straw for Pac, who walked out on WWE despite being under contract. Now he finds himself in AEW. Something a wrestler is expected to do is put over other stars. As the face of the company who has gotten used to being the top guy, seeing a new star arrive can be difficult. This was the case for Stone Cold when Brock Lesnar appeared. The star was already not in a good place given his neck injuries and his days in the ring being numbered. Following WrestleMania 18, Austin looked for the first time like he was exhausted with the wrestling business. He was tired and WWE decided he was going to lose to Lesnar on Raw. The fact that WWE was giving away a Stone Cold loss on Raw, not on pay-per-view, did not sit well with the star. He instead decided he was going to no-show the match. Austin felt he was big enough to not have to do the job in such a way. He would retire soon enough and become a commissioner before leaving WWE altogether. SummerSlam 91 was one of the biggest events for WWE. In the main event, Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior would face Sergeant Slaughter, Colonel Mustafa, and General Adnan. The match was less than what WWE was booking it as, with it hardly being as excited as they were claiming. However, leaving aside the match, the mess that was going on backstage made WWE regret booking it. Warrior had become a top star. Still, Hogan was naturally the higher paid athlete, something Warrior was not too happy about. In fact, he felt WWE owed him something around $500,000 because of the difference in pay between himself and Hogan. Vince McMahon didn't pay him the amount, but this led to Warrior threatening to no-show SummerSlam. Vince bowed to Warrior's demand just so he would go out and compete. Immediately after the match, Warrior was met backstage by Vince McMahon telling him he was fired. He was not even allowed to return to the ring to celebrate with Hogan. The match was the final straw that broke the camel's back for Warrior in WWE, and his career would never be the same again. Ronda Rousey came into WWE to a huge ovation, but from the beginning it was clear what she wanted. She came into WWE at the end of the Royal Rumble pay-per-view after Asuka had won the Rumble. Taking the spotlight from Asuka, Rousey made it clear she was in WWE and pointed at the WrestleMania sign. Putting that aside as something WWE booked, Ronda never really wanted to be anything but someone who was supported by WWE fans. She was coming out of UFC, and while she had her fair share of haters there, she was not used to doing what it took to be a proper heel. She was especially not prepared for fans to not like her even before she had turned heel. At Survivor Series 2018, Ronda was supposed to be facing Becky Lynch, but thanks to a mistimed punch by Nia Jax, Lynch was unable to compete. Instead, she faced Charlotte, someone WWE thought fans would hate. However, fans already had enough of Rousey, and when Charlotte brought the heat to the match, beating up Rousey with a kendo stick, fans started to cheer for Charlotte and booed Rousey, who got a DQ victory over Flair. Charlotte would mock Rousey with the match years later, the night Ronda stopped wanting to be a wrestler. Much later, Rousey would explain that it was one of the moments that made her not like wrestling again, and called out fans for the moment, saying that she had hated them. "I love performing, I love the girls, I love being out there, but at the end of the day, I was just like, forget these fans, dude." Given that Rousey was not willing to be booed, she was not really suited to be a wrestler. Chris Jericho is one of the top legends of the wrestling industry and has been in this position for a couple of decades. He's been wrestling for a long time, and over his lengthy career has done it all, defeating Stone Cold and The Rock in one night while also wrestling top stars and holding the best titles. He has been part of ridiculous segments and enjoyable segments without judging it. However, there have been times when even he has taken the disrespect that he has received from WWE to heart. His relationship with Vince McMahon was special, with Jericho being considered one of the right-hand men of the WWE chairman at different times. Heading into WrestleMania 33, the feud between Jericho and Kevin Owens was by far the hottest story, and the one that fans cared about. After months of tearing up together, Kevin Owens' betrayal during the Festival of Friendship took the heat on this match to another level. With the two best friends ready to face each other, they deserved to be given the spotlight at Mania, though Vince McMahon decided that Goldberg and Brock Lesnar needed the Universal Championship. KO was Universal Champion and Jericho could have battled for it at Mania, but instead Vince had Owens drop the belt to Goldberg. The hottest feud of the year was booked as the second match on the Mania card instead. Naturally, Jericho felt disrespected by the decision and realized that WWE no longer saw him as the main event guy he was. He had more to offer, and for the first time since joining WWE, he left and competed for New Japan. In the long term, this would see him join AEW in a moment that Vince McMahon would come to regret. This is one match that a lot of fans may not remember, but everyone should. At times, early WCW was like a fever dream. Such was the case when whoever booked Dustin Rhodes' match in WCW at Uncensored 1995, Rhodes was booked in a match against Blacktop Bully aka Demolition Smash. Years before, Dusty would be fired from WCW after he booked a segment where he was opened up with a spike against the Road Warriors, breaking one of Turner Broadcasting rules about no blood. That's exactly what happened to Dustin. He was a part of a King of the Road match which saw him face Blacktop Bully on the back of a moving truck filled with hay. It was as if it was a silly version of Mad Max Fury Road. The match was pretty boring, but both men bladed. As a result, WCW had enough and fired both, in an anticlimactic end to their careers in the company. In a repeat of an incident that took place with the Ultimate Warrior, Jeff Jarrett decided that he would take advantage of Vince McMahon, a move that's never the safest or the smartest. At No Mercy 99, Vince Russo had left WWE and had booked things for the company before leaving. Jarrett was the Intercontinental Champion in 99 and was in a feud with China. Russo convinced Vince McMahon to blow off the feud at No Mercy before leaving the company. WWE discovered at the last moment that Jarrett would be out of a contract at the time of the event. Jarrett was under no obligation to perform, so he told McMahon that he would be paid $300,000 or he would leave WWE and take the title with him to WCW where he was going. Jeff Jarrett got his ransom money to perform, but he was fired immediately after. However, Double J would suffer 2 firings. When Vince McMahon bought WCW, he fired Jarrett live on air with a lot of relish. In the end, both the Ultimate Warrior and Jeff Jarrett are in the Hall of Fame, proving anything can be put aside in the wrestling business. And these were matches that made wrestlers leave WWE. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.